The SMART method. One way to ensure goals are effective is to use the SMART method. SMART is a quick way to remind yourself of the characteristics of an effective goal. S is for specific. A specific goal is clear and concrete, so you know exactly what the goal is. Eat healthy is not specific. Eat a salad for lunch 5 days a week is. M is for measurable. A measurable goal is the one where you can easily tell if you are accomplishing the goal or not. Study more is not measurable. Review flashcards for 15 minutes a day is. A is for achievable. An achievable goal is one that you have a realistic shot at accomplishing. Do 10 bicep curls with a 120-pound dumbbell every day probably isn't achievable. Do 10 bicep curls with a 10-pound dumbbell every day probably is. R is for relevant. A relevant goal moves you closer to a goal you want to achieve. If your goal is to finish a 5K run in under 40 minutes, then the goal, spend 20 minutes reading a book every day, isn't very relevant. By contrast, the goal, run for 30 minutes 3 times a week, is relevant. T is for time limited. A time-limited goal has a specific completion point in the future. The goal, save $20 from every paycheck, isn't time limited. Save $20 from every paycheck for the next 3 months is. If you make sure that your goals are SMART, you'll find that you're more likely to complete them, and that when you do, you will be another step closer to the goals you want to reach.